This is Armani Code the EDT and this is my review of it. So I previously reviewed Armani Code Parfum, which is a fragrance I really like. I'm gonna link to my review of it above, so please do check it out. Armani Code the EDT was released after the Parfum, and I am going to do a comparison between these two, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on that one. Some of the notes in Armani Code EDT are green mandarin, lavender, tonka bean and cedar. So what does it smell like? Armani Code EDT opens up in a citrusy, fresh and bright way. This is more bright than fresh though, so don't expect it to be something super fresh. I like it though, and that initial citrusy freshness has a hint of sweetness and something spicy over it, which makes it pop in a nice way. Right behind that initial dose of freshness is a big dose of lavender, and if you ever smelled lavender in fragrance, which you most likely have, then you recognize that intense aromatic scent of it. The whole thing is bright and fresh in an aromatic way with a bit of spiciness to it and something slightly sweet in the background. I love the scent of lavender, so this is definitely something I enjoy. At this point though, it's nothing crazy, unique or anything, but if you enjoy lavender, then you most likely enjoy this. Things change as it dries down, and it goes from being lavender dominant to the lavender taking a back seat to a mix of woodiness and vanilla. The lavender is still there in the background, but the dry down is, in a nutshell, a mix of vanilla and intense woodiness. The dry down is also where things feel the most familiar, at least if you smelled Parfum or the EDP, you'll recognize that woody and vanillic blend. I'm a big fan of that sort of a code DNA, and this is good. Now, sometimes when I spray it on, it feels a bit more woody and sometimes a bit more vanillic. So I do feel that they are sort of on the same level and quite well balanced. So as it shifts from that initial sort of freshness into the woody and vanillic dry down, it also goes from being on the sort of a lighter side of things into something that's a bit more warm with a bit of depth to it. With that said, I don't think this is a super deep or warm kind of scent. It's got a bit more warmth to it and it's got more depth to it compared to the opening and the mids. But this is not a super heavy or super warm vanillic and woody dry down. That's one of the things I really like about Code Parfum. It's sort of a lighter side, and I like that this is not a heavy kind of scent and instead a bit more versatile. So in a nutshell, what you're getting here scent-wise is a fresh and aromatic opening with a focus on lavender, which changes into a woody and vanillic mix in the dry down that's a bit warm and a bit sweet. While the dry down has a bit of warmth and sweetness to it, it's still not an intensely warm, overly sweet or super deep kind of scent. I've said this about Code Parfum and I feel the same way about the EDT. This feels like a sort of a more modern take on that Code DNA, done in a slightly lighter and fresher way. So how do I feel when I wear Armani Code EDT? This, in a way, gives me sort of the same vibe as Code Parfum, but with a twist. It's elegant and sophisticated with a dash of something sexy over it. Armani Code EDT is understated elegance done in an attractive way. It's not showy, it's definitely not bold. It's subtle, but it piques your interest with its sophisticated and elegant vibe. So what about compliments and reactions from others? I have not worn this that much yet, but the Code DNA is a compliment getting one, Code Parfum is a compliment getter, and this will most likely get compliments as well. So what about the performance? From the wearings I've had so far, I think the performance is a bit above average, but not strong. I get decent projection for the first couple of hours and people seem to pick up on it when you're talking to someone, but it's not a room filler. Longevity seems pretty good though. So when should you use Armani Code EDT? Since this is mostly focused on lavender, woodiness and vanilla, and done in a very mass appealing way, and since it's not a heavy kind of scent, I do feel that you can use it pretty much any occasion. Work, school, going out, date night or whenever. As for seasons, throughout the year for sure, and I really look forward to wearing this on summer night outs, as I think it will develop in a fantastic way with a bit of warmth. So who should buy Armani Code EDT? If you like the Code DNA and think you would enjoy it in a slightly more fresh and light way, then you might enjoy this. I also think there's a chance you'll enjoy the EDT if you like the Parfum, because the EDT in a way is almost like a slimmed down version of the Parfum. Some will definitely feel that the EDT is too close to the Parfum and thus not needed. So I would say avoid blind buying this if you already have Code Parfum. unless you absolutely love Code Parfum and want a variation of it. Avoid if lavender or vanilla is not your thing, or if you know you don't enjoy that sort of a code DNA. What are some of the alternatives to Armani Code EDT? The most obvious ones are of course Code Parfum, which in a way is like a richer and powdery version of this, or Code EDT for something a bit richer and warmer. I would also suggest Prada Luna Rossa. They are definitely not the same, but Luna Rossa is a great fragrance that's also focused on lavender. But it's got a richer kind of aromatic side, and instead of woody and vanillic, it's more on the fresh side with musk and mint. So how am I going to rate Armani Code EDT? So I'm a big fan of Armani Code Parfum. That's a fantastic fragrance, and this gives me a bit of that, but with a twist. There are definitely absolutely some similarities, but they are not the same. This gives me some of that code DNA, but updated, made a bit more modern and slightly more fresh. It's versatile, smells good, and the performance is decent even though it's not beast mode, and it's a very likable scent. I'm going to give Armani Code the EDT 7.5. This is basically code done in a modern way, and I like it. I would love to know how you feel about Armani Code EDT and how you would rate it from 1 to 10, so make sure you comment. Like this video, I really appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe and that notification bell. Make sure you check out the videos over there, and I'll see you in the next one.